The story of Mexico begins long before the arrival of the Spanish. In the Valley of Mexico, a powerful indigenous civilization rose to prominence, the Aztecs. From humble beginnings, they built a mighty empire. They were skilled warriors and strategists, conquering neighboring tribes and expanding their dominion. By the 15th century, their empire stretched from the Pacific Ocean to the Gulf of Mexico. At the heart of their empire was Tenochtitlan, a magnificent city built on a lake. This marvel of engineering and urban planning boasted causeways, canals, and towering pyramids. The Aztecs were not only builders but also innovators. They developed a sophisticated system of writing, mathematics, and astronomy. Their calendar, based on precise observations of the sun and stars, was remarkably accurate. They also had a rich artistic tradition, evident in their intricate sculptures, pottery, and featherwork. The Aztecs' religious beliefs were deeply intertwined with their daily lives. The arrival of the Spanish conquistadors marked a turning point in their history, forever altering the course of Mexico. In 1519, Hernán Cortés, a Spanish conquistador driven by ambition and gold, landed on the coast of Mexico. He marched inland with a small army, aided by indigenous allies who resented Aztec rule. The Aztecs, initially hesitant to engage in conflict, mistook Cortés for a returning god. Montezuma II, the Aztec Emperor, received Cortés with great ceremony, believing him to be the deity Quetzalcoatl. This miscalculation proved fatal. Cortés, exploiting Aztec hospitality, took Montezuma hostage, effectively holding the empire ransom. The Spanish, with their superior weaponry and tactical advantage, laid siege to Tenochtitlan. Despite their valiant resistance, the Aztecs, weakened by disease and internal strife, were ultimately defeated. The fall of Tenochtitlan in 1521 marked the end of the Aztec Empire and the beginning of Spanish rule in Mexico. The Spanish, victorious but ruthless, razed Tenochtitlan to the ground and built Mexico City atop its ruins, a symbol of their dominance. The Spanish conquest ushered in an era of profound transformation. Mexico, now a colony of Spain, was christened New Spain. The Spanish crown implemented a system of governance designed to extract wealth and resources from their new possession. The encomienda system, a form of forced labor, exploited indigenous communities. The Spanish, driven by a thirst for gold and silver, established mines that became the backbone of their colonial economy. The arrival of Spanish settlers brought with it a new social order. At the top of this hierarchy were the peninsulares, Spanish-born individuals who held the most power and privilege. Below them were the criollos, people of Spanish descent born in Mexico, who resented the dominance of the peninsulares. The indigenous population, once rulers of their own land, found themselves relegated to the lowest rungs of society. The Catholic Church played a significant role in colonial Mexico. Spanish missionaries sought to convert the indigenous population to Christianity, leading to a syncretic blend of indigenous and Christian practices. The 3 centuries of Spanish rule left an indelible mark on Mexico, a period of oppression and exploitation, but also one of cultural exchange and transformation. By the late 18th century, resentment toward Spanish rule had reached a boiling point. Enlightenment ideas found fertile ground in Mexico. Inspired by the American and French revolutions, criollos yearned for self-governance. In 1810, Miguel Hidalgo ignited the flames of rebellion. His cry for independence, the Grito de Dolores, resonated with the masses. Hidalgo rallied peasants, miners, and indigenous people to his cause. The fight for independence was long and arduous. Hidalgo's army lacked military discipline. He was captured and executed in 1811. The embers of revolution were not easily extinguished. After a decade of struggle, the tide turned in favor of the insurgents. In 1821, Agustín de Iturbide forged an alliance with the rebels, leading to Mexico's independence. Independence did not bring immediate peace to Mexico. The young nation faced numerous challenges, including economic instability, Internal divisions and political turmoil plagued Mexico. Governance was a pressing issue. Centralists clashed with Federalists. This led to coups and political instability. Territorial disputes with the U.S. added to Mexico's woes. The Mexican-American War ended in a humiliating defeat. The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo forced Mexico to cede vast territories. Despite challenges, Mexico experienced progress and reform. Benito Juárez, a Zapotec lawyer, became a revered president. His liberal reforms, La Reforma, aimed to modernize Mexico. The turn of the 20th century found Mexico under the iron fist of Porfirio Díaz, a dictator who had ruled for over 3 decades. While Díaz's regime brought stability and economic growth, it came at a high price. The gap between the rich and poor widened, and social inequality became rampant. Indigenous communities continued to face discrimination and marginalization. In 1910, Francisco Thurs Madero, a wealthy landowner turned revolutionary, challenged Díaz in the presidential election. When Díaz refused to recognize the results and jailed Madero, the Mexican Revolution erupted. What began as a political movement quickly transformed into a complex and bloody struggle for social justice. Emiliano Zapata, a charismatic peasant leader from Morelos, emerged as one of the most iconic figures of the revolution. Zapata, fighting under the banner of land and liberty, demanded agrarian reform and the return of stolen lands to indigenous communities. The Mexican Revolution was a decade-long struggle marked by violence, betrayal, and political intrigue. The Constitution of 1917, adopted in the aftermath of the revolution, enshrined many of the ideals for which the revolutionaries had fought, including land redistribution, labor rights, and secular education. The decades following the revolution were a time of reconstruction and consolidation. The Institutional Revolutionary Party, or PRI, born from the ashes of the revolution, emerged as the dominant political force, ruling Mexico for most of the 20th century. This period witnessed significant progress in areas such as education, healthcare, and infrastructure development. However, the PRI's rule was also characterized by authoritarian tendencies and corruption. Despite its rhetoric of social justice, the party often favored elites and stifled dissent. The nationalization of the oil industry in 1938, a defining moment in Mexican history, was seen as a symbol of Mexican sovereignty and a rejection of foreign exploitation. On the international stage, Mexico charted an independent course. During the Cold War, it adopted a non-aligned stance, refusing to take sides in the ideological battle between the United States and the Soviet Union. Mexico also played an active role in international organizations, advocating for developing countries and promoting multilateralism. As the 21st century unfolded, Mexico began to diversify its foreign relations, seeking new partnerships and alliances beyond its traditional ties with the United States. The rise of China as a global power presented Mexico with new opportunities for trade and investment. Mexico also strengthened its ties with Russia, exploring cooperation in areas such as energy and security. Mexico's participation in the BRICS alliance, a grouping of emerging economies that includes Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, reflects its growing global influence. This alliance provides Mexico with a platform to engage with other emerging powers and shape the global agenda on issues such as trade, finance, and climate change. Mexico's foreign policy in the 21st century has been characterized by pragmatism and a commitment to multilateralism. It has sought to balance its close relationship with the United States with its desire to forge new partnerships and alliances. Mexico's growing global influence is a testament to its economic and diplomatic clout. Today, Mexico stands at a crossroads. It is a nation grappling with the challenges of poverty, inequality, and violence. Yet it is also a country brimming with potential. Its young and dynamic population, rich cultural heritage, and strategic location make it a key player in the globalized world. Mexico's future will be shaped by its ability to address its domestic challenges while navigating the complexities of the international arena. Investing in education, promoting innovation, and strengthening the rule of law will be crucial for sustainable development. Mexico's journey from the ancient Aztecs to a modern global power is a testament to the resilience and creativity of its people. As Mexico looks to the future, it can draw strength from its rich history and embrace the opportunities of the 21st century with confidence and determination.